Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back. Happy Friday. We're just gonna start right off with where we were yesterday. So I'm gonna summarize what we did yesterday, and then we're just gonna get right into finishing scene one. Okay. So yesterday there were a couple of servants from the Capulet side and the Montague side. Remember, those two families hate each other, and they got into a fight in the street. And the prince, right here, where we left off yesterday, basically told them, if I see you fighting again, you are going to be punished by death. Okay, so like if any of them are caught fighting in the street again, the prince will murder them, execute them. Okay, so then the Capulets leave. Okay, and the Montague uh, people are still there. So there's Montague, Lady Montague, and then Benvolio, who is Romeo's lighthearted best friend. Okay, so Montague asks Benvolio, "Who set this ancient quarrel new abroach? Speak, nephew. Were you by when it began? So, like, were you around when it started? Here were the servants of your adversary, and yours close fighting here I did approach. I drew to part them. In an instant came the fiery Tybalt with his sword prepared." Remember, Tybalt is the really hot-headed guy from the Capulet side, okay? "Which, as he breathed defiance into my ears, he swung about his head and cut the winds, who, nothing hurt withal, hissed him in scorn. While we were interchanging thrusts and blows, came more and fought on part and part, till the prince came, who parted either part." And then Lady Montague asks, "Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today?" Imagine if we talked like that. That would just be wacko. "Saw you him today? Right glad I am he was not in this fray. Madam, an hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drove me to walk abroad, where underneath the grove of sycamore, that westward rooteth from this city aside, so early walking did I see your son. Towards him I made, but he wasn't aware of me, and stole the covert of our wood. I, measuring his affections by my own, which then most sought were most might not to be found, being one too many of or by my weary self, pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who gladly fled from me." Okay, so that whole scene basically said, yeah, I saw Romeo this morning. He wanted to find a place to be alone, and so I didn't really question him. Okay? And so then his dad, Mr. Montague, says, "Many a morning hath he been, or hath there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds, more clouds, with his deep sighs." So I want to pause really quick, okay? Why do you think Romeo is sad? We kind of talked about it a few days ago, but do you remember, why does Romeo want to be alone at this point? Let's keep going. "But all soon, or also soon as the all-cheering sun should in the farthest east begin to draw the shady curtains from Aurora's bed, away from the light steals home my heavy son, and private in his chamber pens himself, shuts open his windows, or shuts up his windows, locks fair daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must his humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove." So that was like a monologue saying, like, my poor son, he's gonna have to get through this. "My noble uncle, do you know the cause? I neither know it nor can learn of him. Have you importuned him by any means? Have you like questioned him um, at all about why he's so sad?" And then his dad says, "Both by myself and many other friends, but he, his own affections counselor, is to himself, I will not say how true, but to himself so secret and so close, so far from sounding and discovery, as the bud bit with an envious worm, here he can spread his sweet leaves into the air, or dedicate his beauty to the same. Could we but learn whence his sorrows grow, we would as willingly give cure as know." Montague sometimes ends his lines in rhymes, okay? And that's something that Shakespeare used to do. So, like right here, "prove and remove," and then grow and know. So now Romeo comes in, all right? And we're going to learn about them questioning him and why he's so sad. See where he comes. So please you, step aside. I'll know his grievance, or be much denied. And then Montague says, I would thou wert so happy by thy stay to hear true shrift. Come, madam, let's away. And there's another rhyme right there. So then Montague and Lady Montague, so the mom and dad, leave. So now it's just Benvolio and Romeo, their best friends. Good morrow, cousin. Is the day so young? He's so dramatic. By new struck 9. Ay, me, sad hours seem long. Was that my father that went hence so fast? It was. What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours? Not having that which, having, makes them short. In love? Out of love? Out of her favor, where I am in love. Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should be so tyrannous and rough in proof. Alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should without eyes see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine? O me, what fray was here? Yet tell me not, for I have heard it all. There's much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first create, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep, that is not what it is. This love feel I, that feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh? No, 'cause I rather weep. All right, I'm going to pause there, okay? What was Romeo's little speech there about? Why is he conflicted? And I want you to pay special attention to where it says feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health. Why does he mention all of these opposites? Okay? Tell me, how is Romeo feeling right now? Good heart at what? At thy good heart's oppression. So Romeo right now is feeling conflicted because he loves this girl so much, right? And he falls into love really easily, as we've learned, that he's so conflicted because he's like, I love her so much, but she doesn't want me anymore. So, like, do I move on? Do I continue to love her? Why is love so, like, mean? And I'm sure some of you have felt that too before, right? Why could this happen to me? Why is this doing to me? Or why would the world put this upon me when maybe something that you love leaves you or goes away, right? So these are the feelings that Romeo is feeling right now. Why, such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed. With more of thine, this love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to too much of mine own. Love is a smoke made with fumes of sighs, being purged, a fire's sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed, a sea, nourished with loving tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall, and my preserving sweet. Farewell, my cuz. So up here, I want to just mention something, right? Love is a smoke made with the fume of sighs. That's a metaphor, right? That we've learned about earlier in the semester. That's a metaphor. Love is a smoke made with the fume of sighs. So love can only prevail under sadness. Okay, that's what he's saying. That the world is horrible and only love can bring us out of this sadness. Okay? And so Benvolio responds to that dramatic speech by saying, Soft, I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong. Then Romeo says, Tut, I have lost myself. I'm not here. This is not Romeo. He's some other where. Tell me, in sadness, who is that you love? What, shall I groan and tell thee? Groan? Why, no, but sadly, tell me who. A sick man in sadness makes his will. A word ill surged or urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman. Romeo, you're going to realize, is so dramatic, right? And you need to keep in mind that this is being portrayed on a stage, right? And so this character needs to be this dramatic because otherwise the audience really won't get that he is broken up about this woman. He is so sad, okay? I do love a woman. And then Benvolio responds by saying, I aimed so near when I supposed you loved a right good markman. And she's fair, I love. A right fair mark, fair cuz, is soonest hit. Well, in that hit you miss. She'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit, and in strong proof of chastity well armed, from love's weak childish bow she lives uncharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saint seducing gold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor that when she dies, with beauty dies her store. Then she hath sworn that she or will still live chaste. She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste. For beauty, starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live to tell it now. Be ruled by me, forget to think of her. Oh, teach me how I should forget to think. So Benvolio is like, dude, forget about her. Like, she's gone. She's not coming back. And Romeo's like, how did I forget about this? I picture him like crying just so much. How I should forget to think, right? By giving liberty until thine eyes, examine other beauties, other people, okay? 'Tis the way to call hers exquisite in question more. To these happy masks that kiss fair ladies' brows, being black puts us in mind they hide the fair. He that is stricken blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight lost. Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve but as a note, where I may read who passed that passing fair? Farewell. Thou cannot teach me to forget. I'll pay that doctrine or else die in debt. All right, so that is the end of scene one, okay? So act one, scene one is done. But my last question for you is, even in this little section, right? So in these few pages that we've been talking to Romeo, that we've been learning about Romeo, I want you, okay, to answer the question, what does Romeo value? And what does that value say about him as a character? Okay, so what does Romeo value? And what does that say about him as a character? Thank you all for listening so much. We're going to start Act 1, Scene 2 on Tuesday. We will have an activity on Monday of next week with Act 1, Scene 1. So make sure that you've read it all the way through and that you're kind of getting it a little bit, okay? You're starting to understand who these characters are, all right? If you have any questions, shoot us an email, obviously. Make sure that you get these done. Turn in your ABC book. Today we are having meet and greets, Miss Kuthi and I are, and so if you want to show up to that, times will be posted in the attendance, in the instructions above, okay? So just make sure that you come on in if you want to, okay? Have a great rest of your day, have a good weekend, y'all, and we will see you soon.